Okay, so actual work, I don't know when I'll be finished, but I'm going to build me a platform to insulate the ceiling from. And I've got these 2x4x10s. These are very old. They're recycled from a shed. I did not even know they were 2x4x10s when I pulled them out. And but they look really good. And when the shed was going to be knocked down, I went ahead and banged these out with a hammer. Thought they looked pretty good. I thought they were 8-footers, so I didn't really think about it. So I went to put them in my other shed, and thought they were rather tall. And they're 10-footers. I've got some more over there with nails in them. 3 or 4 more. A lot of nails in them. So these are going to be a work platform which I'm going to build. It will also double as a storage shelf. And this is high priority right now. It's cold, and all that foam is just sitting there. It needs to be in the ceiling. So this is pretty much going to be the priority now, and I don't know when it'll be done. And I'm not going to be able to film every step, but I'll definitely record when the work platform is up, or at least partially complete. Now the work platform is going to double as a storage shelf, so I'm not wasting my time here. I need to have some way to get up there, and I do not want to use a ladder. I just don't do tall ladders. I'd rather not. The shape that I'm in, I can't afford it, so I'm going to put some lights up there on those cross pieces that you can see right there. Right in that area there, there's cross pieces on the trusses. Those are going to have lights on them, and then the insulation, of course, is going to go right up in there. In these little areas here, I'm just going to have to shove it right in. That bar right there, that track, creates a standoff or an air gap, which is, I guess, okay. I may or may not put the radiant barrier on that side, or I may put it on the inside. I haven't decided. So I have to get the platform built, get up in that ceiling, and start putting insulation here quick, because it's winter time, and this building is just going to be freezing cold all the time, and it's not going to be any good if I can't work in it. I don't know whether I'll be able to beat the winter or not. I got to get the insulation in. I've got more insulation coming. That isn't all of it. They messed up my order, and the rest of it should be coming eventually, but that's enough to get me started. I also ordered a special jigsaw and special jigsaw blades, which I hope will cut this stuff. So I will update as soon as any of that gets done or starts happening. I will now violate my promise of not showing every little thing I do in here on camera. I figure I ought to cut at least one piece of wood on camera. And I want to show a technique I use all the time. I use an X-Acto knife with my tape measure, and I use that to make a mark on the wood. And then you can take a builder square or a combo square and just use that to get a very precise mark. And you can be really exacting and precise using this method. Now it takes a lot of time, and for something like, I'm just making a work platform, it probably doesn't matter. But I figured I'd record that and show it. I had to unplug my heater because I don't have enough power to run both. But that's only temporary. Once I get everything up and running here, I can have more freedom. Let's see how loud this is. All right, looks good. So this is the first 2 pieces of the work platform, other than the uprights. It's going to be 4x4 and 6 foot off the ground with a 4-foot chest high railing or something like that. And it will also be a heavy duty storage shelf. So I'm going to cut one more of these, and I'm going to go over there and start building the platform. Here's the progress so far. Going with 1x2s. I'm using some structural screws I got off of eBay. They're not brand name, but they seem pretty nice, and yeah, I'll give them a try. They're nicely made. I'm going to have diagonal bracing. I'm going to use some non-recycled wood for the horizontals, and I'm going to build one more of these with the diagonal brace going the opposite way, tie them together, and then I'm going to start building the platform on there. All right, I'll be back when it's done. All right, that's how it's coming along so far. I built both of the sides, and I've got them. Got the sides flipped over 90 degrees, and then I've got a piece of plywood bracing with clamps going across to hold them up. And I'm going to take the two 4-foot pieces of 2x4 and permanently attach those with structural screws. And at some point, I'm going to flip this thing upright and finish it. But right now, I'm just tacking together all the uprights and cross pieces. So I'll be back when it's done. Here's a better view. This thing's bigger than I thought, but I don't want something that's going to fall over. It will double as a very nice, robust shelf for storage, which I'll be very happy to have. So really, I'm not wasting my time here at all. I used a 1x2 to keep the weight down. I used washers and polymer coated deck screws for the diagonals. I don't want to be too heavy. I want to be able to move this around, slide it around whenever I need to. But I still want it strong enough to hold, a couple 100 pounds of stuff when it's being used for storage. All right, I'll be back when it's done. I'll show you a neat little way that I've been using for years to find the center of a 2x4 if I want to get my screw exactly in the center of the 2x4. If I'm going into another 2x4 that's at right angles. And actually this technique works in a variety of different ways. It's very useful. So the first thing I need to do is, I'm going to use an X-Acto knife because I want to be really precise, but I'm also going to use a marker to mark where I'm putting the screws so you can see. It's very hard to see on camera. There's probably a lot of different ways to do the same thing, so I'm just going to show you my way. First I find the vertical, I find the where the 2x4 is behind here, and I just make a mark. And I do the same thing right here. Make a mark. And this tells me the width of the 2x4, which I know the width of a 2x4, but I don't know exactly where it is. It's hard with the eye to judge. And so this little mark here is going to show me exactly where it is. So that's assuming you haven't bent the combo square. Next, I'm going to carry that line down using my builder square right here. So I'm just going to get it in the right position. And this is assuming everything's already squared. I've done all the squaring already. So I use my square. I'm going to take that line all the way down here. I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Now, of course, a lot of things don't require this level of precision, but I like to get everything perfectly straight, and that's why I do it. Okay, next you take another straight edge. It can be any straight edge. I'll use this combo square here. And now I'm going to take from one corner to the other, I'm going to draw a diagonal. Then I'm going to take the diagonal the other direction, like this. Now I have an X. And the X tells me that right where that black dot is where I want to put the screw. And that's exactly in the center of where the 2x4 makes contact with this 2x4 at right angles. And this kind of technique, you can use it all over the place, but this is just one way I use it. I'm going to use a clamp because I spent a lot of time squaring this up and measuring it and everything, and I don't want to make a mistake. So this clamp will help keep the wood from moving around when I put the screw in. And it's a large structural screw, like that. I really like these screws. I've been using them for years. I know they don't require pre-drilling, but I pre-drill anyway, especially if the lumber is dry and it may crack or split. And that one went in a bit crooked, but oh well, it'll do fine. All right, I got the two back horizontal pieces on. It's squared up. It's certainly not perfect, but it's pretty close. And I'll put a couple of diagonals on this side. This is going to be the back when it's in shelf mode. And that's just a piece of plywood I have, just help square it and hold it together. And putting a little more lumber into this than I wanted to, but safety first. I'm going to be standing on this thing. All right, I'll get back to you when it's done. It is stood upright. It's pretty lightweight. I was hoping it wouldn't be too heavy because I want to drag it around. I could put wheels on it. I might end up putting some heavy duty casters. I think it's turning out okay. And those railings might be a bit too tall. I don't really need that. I might cut a foot off, so it'd be 9 feet. And that bar there is 6 foot off the ground. So that'll allow me to get to the ceiling, I hope, and do my work up there. That's the hope anyway. And the sun's been trying to come out, so I'm getting a little bit of power now. Probably take the whole day to charge that one. And I'm just recycling lumber from my shed, so I'm getting these staples and nails that are in it, getting rid of them. And it's worth it because I don't want to pay for 2x4s if I don't have to. So it's a lot of extra work, but I'm going to reuse probably 50% or more of the wood from my old shed that I knocked down. All right, so there's one more 2x4 by 8. These are really old. They're probably, well, they're over 10 years old. I'm sure they could be more than that. But they're worth the effort. I'm guessing this is maybe $4 or some $5, depending on where you are. And it's worth 2 minutes pulling out nails. All right, there's the progress so far. Now I need to cut the floor and put that in. And I'll do some additional bracing up at the top. Yeah, there'll be guardrails. And this is enough so I can push it up against the wall out of the way. It's strong enough. I was able to move it around, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, I got the floor cut. And it's 1/2-inch plywood. There's going to be a support underneath in the middle at 2 feet or 24 inches, so it's all right for light duty use. I'm not worried about it. I used my Bosch saw, cordless saw, 18 volt. I never had one of these before. I've always had a heavy duty plug-in saw, circular saw. This is nice and light. You don't have to worry about the cord. It's good. I think it was a refurb. I can't remember, but it's in brand new condition when I got it. And I'm going to say it's a keeper. I wouldn't use it for anything heavy duty like big pieces of wood, but thin sheets of plywood and a 2x4, yeah, not a problem. And there's the aftermath of all the cutting. Made a pretty good mess. Just going to sweep that up. It's super dark up here. I'm on top of the platform for the first time, and I have the 24-inch on center cross piece installed, joist, whatever you want to call it. There's the mark for the center line. I'm just going to extend that out and put in 4 or 5 screws to make sure it doesn't move. I'm not going to record it because it's dark. I don't have my lights in yet, so can't really see anything. All right, so there's the platform. I need to put the railings on. I've put the floor on, I've screwed it on, attached it, and it's really dark, so I can't show it in detail. I have to wait till there's more light. I'm going to add railings, some additional bracing, and it will double as a shelf system. So I'm going to probably add a couple of shelves in there and some bracing that is removable. So if I want to use it as a shelf or a work platform, I can change it. But I'll have to finish that up later. I've worked as much as I can right now, so time to call it a day.